Hey you guys, it's me, Terry. Welcome to part 2 of my little series that I'm doing for my birthday. 60 things that I've learned over the 60 years that I've been alive. So in this part of the series, part 2, I'm talking about love. What I know about love, how to keep it good. What do you need to do? This is one of my most favorite topics, so let's get into it. Number 1, we need mutual respect in a relationship if it's going to work. Anybody being disrespectful is a problem in a relationship and will eventually wear it down. Number 2, communicate honestly and authentically. This can be difficult because a lot of people don't know how to do it, but you can learn how to do it. I've got lots of courses that can teach you how to do it. It's really important, though, that you talk about what's really happening in the relationship and how you're really feeling. Number 3, it's really important that you like your person. When you meet someone, you're attracted to what you like in them. And then, Vic and I have been married 25 years. We've been together 27 years. It's easy to focus on the things that annoy you, the flaws that they have. So my point, and Vic and I both work on this, is that we really focus on the things we like about the other person. We compliment them on those things. We focus on those things. A lot of times you can love someone, but not like them. I remember when Vic and I were dating, and I already had a trip planned to Tuscany, and I wrote him a 40-page handwritten letter while I was in Tuscany. I really would rather have been in Elizabeth, New Jersey. That's how in love I was, because that's where he was. And the whole letter was like, I love that you only wear jeans and t-shirts. I love how you smell. I love how soft your skin is. Like, I was fucking in love. I still am. But I was overflowing with the things that I liked about him. And maybe partly because I never thought I was going to find that kind of love in this lifetime. For me, I hadn't up until that point. Anyway, liking is super important. Number 4, create a shared couples vision. And I'll give you a link to a blog that I've done on this, and you guys will be able to get a download that walks you through how to do it. But shared couples vision is that once you're in a relationship and you feel like it's got legs, you got to really talk about, where do you think you're going to be in X number of years? Where do you want to live? How do you want to spend expendable money if you have money like that to spend? Where do you like to vacation? How do you see your life going? Like, a shared couple vision is very important, of like, where are we going to be in 6 months, a year, 2 years? And I'm not saying to do this prematurely in a relationship. I'm just saying it's important to do it, especially if you're in an established relationship. I would say do this at least once a year, because things change. Right? Things change. What we want changes. We change. That's growth and evolution, Tip number 5, no unsolicited advice giving and criticism. Really don't. It really kills a relationship, and it doesn't feel good to get it either. Yeah, because I think that part of the conflict here is that a lot of times women want to be heard and men want to fix. I'm not saying women don't give unsolicited advice. Trust me, they do. But I'm saying overall, when I used to be a couples counselor back in the day, I could see the differences in what the needs were. And so much of the time, we just want to be witnessed. We just want someone to be like, wow, that sounds like it was hard. How can I best support you right now? Tell me. Because if you tell me, I'll do it, right? But if you don't, a lot of times I'll project what I think or what would be helpful to me, which may not be helpful to you. All right, number 6, value what the other person wants for themselves, right? It's not just how you see them. It's what they want for themselves. In the blog, I tell the story about Vic being an award-winning visual journalist, getting embedded in war zones and different things he does. He's an incredibly talented artist. But I remember the boys were younger when he first got embedded in a war zone with a medevac unit. And I remember them saying, like, one of our kids said, how can you let dad go to a war zone, basically? And I was like, babe, I don't own dad. Like, I love dad. We're co-pilots in this life. But this is his heart's desire. This is like a dream come true for him. How can I stop him from doing it? And I could have. I definitely could have manipulated him. I could have guilted him. I could have said, this is a major problem. And maybe if I had little kids, I would have, but I didn't. And the thing is, how could I stop him from doing the thing that was his heart's desire? I couldn't. Number 7, avoid ownership, avoid jealousy, avoid punishing behavior. These are all things that really are caustic to a relationship. They just scratch away at the foundation of what it is that you're building. Number 8, take responsibility for your health. This is super important, because if you don't, what happens? it massively affects the other person. So you'll have a lot of couples being like, hey, you want to be in shape, that's up to you. But it's like, what I do with my body is none of your business. And I'm going to say I disagree. When Vic and I got together, he's already 10 years older than me. One of the stipulations that I really had, a non-negotiable, is I was like, you have to take care of yourself. You have to stay in shape. You have to, and I'm not like you have to lift weights. You just have to be well, because it's all about quality of life. I was hooking my star to his wagon forever and ever. And when you are not well, and I'm not talking about, listen, I got cancer. I took care of myself. I still got cancer. I'm not talking about things that happen outside of our control. I just mean your health, mental and otherwise, physical as well, has to be your responsibility. And it's important for a relationship that you're both doing it, that you both feel that responsibility. Number 9 is have fun and have sex. Just have sex. You're going to go through periods of your life after having children. There's different moments. And listen, I'm not saying force yourself to have sex, but be intimate. Even if it's not sex, give each other massages, cuddle, snuggle. I do think, though, that keeping sex alive and lively is a really important part of having a relationship last. If it's important to both people in the relationship. There are many kinds of relationships now where some people are in romantic relationships and don't have sex at all. And if that's your vibe, go for it. I'm talking about a relationship where it is sexual, has been sexual, because you're going to go through challenging periods of time. Menopause being one massive one where you're like, holy crap, I'd rather read People magazine. And then there are things that you can do about that, especially if it's important to your partner. So have fun, have sex. Got to have fun though. All right, last one I'm going to say, and then I'm going to give you a link where you can go and see the rest of them, because I had 20, but I didn't want to use 20 of my life lessons for love. I'm only using 10. Try not to interrupt. That's the last one I'm going to say. Even when your partner is telling the story all wrong, because obviously they're going to. Try not to say this is actually what happened. Try not to interrupt them when they're telling you a story, right? We want to be athletic listeners. We want to be active listeners. We want to say, tell me more about that. How did that feel? What was that like for you? This is how we know the people that we love, is that we become really good listeners. And this goes both ways, obviously. All right, so I'm going to leave those 10 there. And then you're going to go to terricole.com/20 tips, 20 tips. And that'll take you to the blog and the other things that I talked about. And you'll be able to see all 20 of them actually in a row. I hope that this was helpful to you. I'd love to know what you would add to this list, what's important to you when it comes to love and keeping it good. And keep your eyes peeled, because this is part 2 of the series. There's going to be 60, and now we're up to 20. So there's 40 more to go. So keep your eyes open for my 60 life lessons and my 60 years of being alive.